For Apple fans, Christmas comes in September.
Santa's coming to town.
Santa! Oh my God!
And Tim Cook and friends hit us with some very much anticipated Merry Ho Ho at this year's Far Out Apple event. Personally, I celebrate Kwanzaa, but I'll take it. Anywho, I'm going to go over what was unveiled at Apple's Far Out event and talk a little about what Apple teased at the end of the event. New earbuds, phones, and all kinds of software goodies. After the intro, let's go. Hey, if any of the videos on this channel help you, if any of the videos from my colleagues have illuminated you, please consider hitting us with a thumbs up, clicking the subscribe, and hitting that notification bell so you'll be notified when we upload the latest content and when we run contests. October 2019. That's when the world would come to know the first iteration of the AirPods Pro. I reviewed them, and though I had a tough time with fit, the sound quality, noise cancellation, and features were brilliant all around. Oh, and that fit issue. They constantly fell out my ears when I ate or talked. That was solved by Comply foam ear tips. Adding those to the mix breathed new life into my AirPods Pro. Well, 3 years later, and Apple has announced the second gen AirPods Pro. No new name like AirPods Pro 2, just AirPods Pro second generation. They went on pre-order Friday, September 9th, but you can pick them up in store beginning Friday, September 23rd. The second gen experience is powered by the new H2 chip inside the buds. It allows for on-device processing, enabling an adaptive transparency mode, which Apple says should reduce loud environmental noise like emergency vehicle sirens and even loudspeakers at a concert. Along with that, you're going to get a new low distortion audio driver and custom amplifier with an additional size of ear tips, extra small, which all should combine like Voltron to give you a powerful giant robot of listening pleasure. Adding to that pleasure, the ability to control volume directly from the earbuds, as the stems now have a touch control feature which allows you to swipe up or down on the stem to adjust sound output. This year, the case is also IPX4 sweat and water resistant, has a built-in lanyard loop and speaker built into the case so that if you use Find My, or in this case, Precision Find My, if your iPhone has the U1 chip in it, well, that speaker will make the Find My tone much louder and easier to, well, find. Oh, and this being a wireless charging case, Apple made things a bit more efficient, and you can now charge the case using your Apple Watch charger in addition to the MagSafe chargers. Now, there were a few things I found myself particularly excited about this year, and this is one of them. Along with the announcement of the Series 8 Apple Watches, which includes a new design for the Apple Watch SE, we also got a new ruggedized Apple Watch, appropriately called the Apple Watch Ultra. Probably the biggest news out of the 8 series watches is a new temperature sensor, 2 to be exact, on the Series 8, and a redesigned SE that is even less expensive, now at $250. I really appreciate how Apple actually gave a fair amount of time and attention to the temperature sensor and women's reproductive health. And given the state of American reproductive rights right now, the fact that they went into detail about the privacy and security of that women's health information, great. The retrospective ovulation information enabled by the new temp sensor could be quite helpful for those trying to get pregnant or using ovulation tracking as a birth control tool or method. Side note, talking about menstrual tracking and pointing out companies who are bold in doing it shouldn't be a thing. We as a society need to grow up a bit and normalize openly discussing health issues which affect our mothers, sisters, wives, and daughters, over 50% of the population. It's 2022, y'all. Time to grow up and stop going, ew, anytime someone brings up periods or tampons in mixed company. Honestly, it's embarrassing. No, not the conversation. Grown men and how they react to it. I'm embarrassed for y'all. Us, them, all of us. Grow up. Speaking of embarrassment, I'm almost embarrassed by how I fanboyed for the next item they announced, the Apple Watch Ultra. In terms of the watch announcements, this was the big enchilada. The Ultra is what all of the rumors kept referring to as the Apple Watch Pro, and it definitely appears to be Pro. Ultra. It has a large 49mm titanium case and a flat sapphire front crystal display, which Apple says is bigger and brighter than ever, shining in at a blazing 2000 nits, which they say is 2 times brighter than any previous Apple Watch. The titanium case comes all the way up to the sides of the display, which Apple says protects the display better. Battery life is supposed to be around 36 hours under some conditions and get up to 60 hours with some battery saving modes activated. Speaking of those sides, you also get a new action button in high-vis orange, or international orange as Apple calls it. The button is customizable and can be used to launch workouts, segments of multi-sport workouts like triathlons and more. And to ensure it lives up to the moniker of Ultra, the watch is certified WR100 or water resistant to the equivalent of 100 meters of pressure or 10 atmospheres, and certified to EN 13319 with a built-in depth gauge, because those certifications mean you can go recreational scuba diving, or more likely snorkeling, but only to 40 meters or 113 feet, and use the watch itself with an app as a dive computer. The watch is also certified to military spec, having met certain aspects of military standard 810H. And for your night ops, there's a new Wayfinder watch face, which has a red backlit version for that 0 dark 30 luminescence. All that ultra rugged tech will cost you $799, available September 23rd. And last but definitely not least, you get a new model iPhone this year in the iPhone 14 lineup, the iPhone 14 Plus. It's the Pro Max, but with the standard 14 specs. No new Mini this year, much to some users' chagrin. So you have the 6.1-inch iPhone 14s in the standard and Pro 14, then the 6.7-inch iPhone 14 Plus and Pro Max. 4 phones total. Likely the most compelling feature people are talking about most is the new dynamic island. This year, Apple gets rid of the bathtub notch on the top of the phones and goes for a pill-shaped notch. But they've done it better than most and created a software hook that places an interactive area where the notch is, making that space functional, which is brilliant. If you're going to have this black space up top of the phone, may as well make it count. And it appears Apple's done just that in spades. In the standard models, you're going to get a new dual camera system this year, and in the Pro models, new always-on display, which looks awesome, a new 48 megapixel quad pixel main camera, new front-facing camera with autofocus and better low-light capabilities, the A16 Bionic chip, and a host of other features, not the least of which is a new eSIM, which has been somewhat controversial around the web with people complaining about the hoops you might have to jump through to deal with international SIMs and international calling, but that's a whole video for another day. We'll get to that. 2 new features coming to the full lineup are crash detection and emergency SOS via satellite. Crash detection uses the phone's sensors and artificial intelligence to detect extreme crashes and can even work in tandem with Apple Watch for a more robust safety experience. The emergency SOS actually uses satellites in instances where you don't have a cellular or Wi-Fi connection to get your emergency help from call centers staffed with Apple-trained specialists. That service launches in November in the US and Canada and will eventually cost you, but is free for the first 2 years. Other than the new iPhone 14 Plus, the 14 and Pro Max pricing is basically unchanged from last year in the US, with the Pro Max 1 terabyte option seeing a price increase over last year. The 4 phones will be available in stores mid-September to late September, depending on the model. You can pre-order now. There are actually so many small, nuanced things that Apple announced that I don't have the time here to go over it all in detail, but look out for my reviews of these products soon, as we'll deep dive into all of that. What did you think about the event? Which products are you looking into buying? Let me know in the comments below. Love chatting with you all. I'm Tshaka Armstrong for reviews.org. If you have any questions that I didn't answer in the video, any comments about the stuff I talked about in the video, go ahead, drop those. I'll get to you, and I will catch you on the next video.